It made me so nervous. I was driving at night, like coming back from Florida, and I was already feeling tired, and I was like,
This is the second
scary.
time this year. It happened, it was like this at the beginning of the school year.
Yeah.
Hit transition, we should be good to go.
Awful.
And then I'll launch this.
Over it. I feel like there's always
Stay for a little bit.
construction there.
I used to live right off of 35 and it was
Ready to go?
always.
Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna call this
Well,
meeting.
hold on, let me, I got,
You're like, well, I said that too fast.
Well,
I got it now. Transition.
over it.
Should be good to go.
Alright, thank you, Ms. Moran. I'm gonna call this meeting, the Tipp City Exempt Village Schools Work Session Meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You can do the attendance, please.
All right. All right, so attendance, Mrs. Dunaway,
Present.
Mr. Patry,
Here.
Mrs. Drum,
Here,
Mr. Maines.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum and we can move forward.
Note that Mrs. Zakor is unable to join us today. Hope she's doing okay. First order of business is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Maines. Is there a second?
second.
Second by Mrs. Drum. Mr. Maines, any discussion?
No.
Mrs. Drum?
Well, okay, mine just looks different than yours. No discussion.
All right, any other board members wish to discuss the agenda? Mr. Moran, if you could call the vote, please.
All right. Including agenda. Lost here for a second. Well, I got it written down.
And don't get too nervous because we have the audio tape, the video tape,
Mr.
so it's
Maines
not a big deal,
first,
yeah.
Mrs. Drum second.
Yep.
All right, so, order, Mrs. Drum,
Yes.
Mr. Maines,
Yes.
Mrs. Dunaway.
Yes,
Mr. Patry.
Yes, motion passes 4-0. Next item, under new business, regular agenda 1, recommend action is motion to appoint incoming superintendent Aaron Moran as treasurer pro tempore at the work session meeting on July 10th, 2023. Is there a motion?
I move.
Motion by Mrs. Drum, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Maines. Mrs. Drum, any discussion?
Nope.
Mr. Maines?
No.
Anyone else? Ms. Moran, if you could call the vote, please.
All right. Mrs. Drum,
Yes.
Mr. Maines.
Yes.
Mrs. Dunaway.
yes,
Mr. Patry.
Yes, motion passes 4-0. Next item is the consent agenda, item 3. Recommend action's motion to approve the consent agenda as listed in items 3A through 3G. Is there a motion?
wait, it's
yeah.
consent, so,
Well, I think you do wanna, we do need to move the health provider contract that hasn't been updated. We didn't have the final one in yet, so if we could table that.
So that approval of student mental health provider contract?
Yes,
All right, so there's no
Final.
motion needed to remove items from the consent agenda.
okay.
I have a question. Are we, I was gonna remove it because there's no content, are we gonna,
Correct.
yeah, okay, perfect,
That's why
We were waiting.
they're still going back. and-
perfect.
We're going back and forth, it's not finalized.
It takes a few
yet.
times, yep,
So that's why, I hope it'll be on there,
Good
but
enough.
it's not there.
So item 3A has been removed, which was approval of the student health or student mental health provider contract. All the other items will move up, so now the consent agenda is recommended actions to approve the consent agenda as listed in items 3A through 3F.
Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Mrs. Strum, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Maines. Any discussion? Mr. Moran, please call the vote.
Mrs. Drum,
Yes.
Mr. Maines,
Yes.
Ms. Dunaway.
Yes.
Mr. Patrick.
Yes, motion passes. Next item is regular agenda, new business, regular agenda 2. First item is recommended actions, motion for approval of the instructional service contract with Midwest Regional ESC for instructional coaching for $80,000. Is there a motion?
I move.
Motion by Mrs. Drum, is there a second? I will second. Mrs. Drum, any discussion?
No.
I have no discussion. Anyone else? All right, Mr. Moran, if you could call the.
I was waiting, I didn't-
Go,
yeah,
I'm
Rick
sorry,
had a
I'm sorry
comment.
about it.
You said 80,000, I'm confused. I see 72,990 and there were like some traveling expenses, but where did you get the 80? I'm looking at 72,000.
The 72,000 is that, and if there's any other monthly mileage,
Well, yeah, well,
Right,
Simon
so
said 80, so I wanted to make sure I didn't like overlook something.
I think we have it for, I think it'd be up to 8, I mean, if there's any other expenses that they get paid, so we kinda just rounded it up to that.
Okay.
If we need to correct that to do that, I'm fine with correcting that.
Okay.
But it might be a little bit more if we have them go do stuff or travel for things.
Yeah, cause I read the on item,
Yes.
line item 2 plus mileage, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, when you look under the contract, there's the operational cost, the cost of $72,990.86 plus the mileage incurred at 50 cents per mile.
right, you said 80, so I just make sure I didn't misread something, that's the only reason I asked.
That's a recommended action is for $80,000.
Okay,
Again, hopefully it's not quite that.
yeah, no, I feel you.
Any other questions or discussion?
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Mr. Moran, and your team. I think this is showing our community that we're putting students first, that we're putting academics first. Anyone can pull up our state report card and see the areas where it's pretty obvious we need to start making some, I would say, very healthy strides in really focusing on education. So thank you to you and your team. And, this is gonna be money well spent. So I really appreciate the effort here.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, Mr. Moran, please call the vote.
All right, Mrs. Drum,
Yes.
Mr. Patrick,
Yes.
Mrs. Dunaway.
Yes,
Mr. Maines.
Abstain.
Okay,
Motion passes. And next item is recommend action motion for approval to hire the following staff for 2023-2024 school year pending proper paperwork and certification. As listed in the motion in the agenda items, public content, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Maines, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Strum. Mr. Maines, any discussion?
No.
Mrs. Strum?
No.
Anyone else? Mr. Moran, if you can call the vote, please.
Mr. Maines,
Yes.
Mrs. Drum,
Yes.
Mrs. Dunaway,
no,
Mr. Patrick.
Yes. Motion passes.
We are at the discussion items. Do you need to leave?
Yeah,
Patrick?
and so, forgive me, but I do need to leave. I've got work obligations I gotta attend to, and so I yield the chair to Mrs. Drum.
Sorry. I'm hot.
With the discussion items, I've shared with everybody the classified in lieu of benefits payment. And basically, there's a practice that's in the teacher's agreement, that's obviously been approved by the board. There was a practice that was approved with some old board policy that is no longer in effect. And so we just need to decide I need the board to decide, again, maybe now's not the right time to do it, but in the next board meeting to decide whether we need to continue the practice that's been there, but just needs to be finalized and approved by the board to do so, or we don't. And we're talking about this payment in lieu of that was done in 2014 maybe, or 13, it might have started back then. Do we wanna continue those things? It affects, I think there's 4 classified staff and maybe 7 teaching staff that affects these contracts, so it's not a whole lot of people, but it is a benefit that needs to be decided upon by the board with the classified staff. What questions did people have about that?
I don't have any questions myself. I thought, there's no reason to not continue it. It's not, it has not been increased for many, many years. It's still the same as what it was back in 2013. So I wasn't really sure why it even came up again, but your explanation is fine, so
Okay.
I have no problems with it.
Mrs. Drum, Ms. Dunaway, any questions that you,
Go ahead,
Either-
sweetie.
No, your policy, so what were your thoughts, or, cause you and Ann are policy,
Yeah, well, I mean, I obviously haven't got to talk to Ann about her thoughts on it either, but I just know when I was teaching, I used this option, and because my husband had good insurance, so I didn't have to worry about it, so I appreciated this, that, I still got a benefit in some way. But if we need to change our policies in order to reflect it, I think that it's a discussion that we all probably need to have together
Yeah.
with everybody present, because I know Ann will have a lot, I mean, she's very knowledgeable about all kinds of policies, so I just kind of want to get her thoughts on it too.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I was thinking tabling it would be.
What did, I don't know how this came about or what brought it to the forefront, I don't know if maybe a new employee, I don't know what bubbled it to the
Payroll's
top.
like, where is this
That was my
payment coming
question,
from?
yeah,
It's happened a couple times since
I figured,
I've kind of.
Yeah.
Not me, but we've come here, like, going through contracts and why are we paying?
Yeah.
Where's the justification for paying this? Okay, where's the board approval? Who's been, we can't just pay people to pay people. So just following up, or where's this come from? And that's where this came from, is again, we're coming up on another year, are we paying these people this benefit or not? And again, it's a small number of people relatively speaking, but is that something that should be done?
right, and so I know it's on page 37 of the bargaining contract where this is discussed. We are negotiating again, probably March or April of 2024, so it'll be,
Yeah, that's a separate issue, this is just with the classified staff.
right,
Yeah, but that could be
it would be
something,
a good, that might be a time to clean it all
clean it
up,
up, yeah,
all at once.
correct,
That's just one option.
yes,
So-
yeah, whatever the board would like to do.
Yeah,
Keep it, they wanna keep it for another year and then see where we're at with all contracts, that's totally within reasonable thinking.
so my suggestion would be that at the July board meeting, there is an agenda item that says, motion to, hang on, Nancy Bowman, let me see what's going on, she might not be able to hear us. Sorry, Mr. Moran,
You're okay.
she always texts me when she can't hear. Oh, she can hear, yay, thanks Nancy, appreciate that. Hey, finally a good message, we don't get those very often. So I would just make, at the July board meeting, motion to keep the current benefit employment as is. And then we can either vote yes or vote no.
Yep.
And then then it can be handled in the bargaining agreement, which happens in the spring. That's just we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, the board
That's
will
just
make
one
that-
option,
Yeah,
to just get it out there and start,
and that's why I
Taking
wanted
away
to have this
the-
as a discussion item.
for sure.
So we can do it in the regular meeting in July.
Yeah, well, you sent all of the information ahead, so we all read it, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I love when you give us those, those 9 attachments or whatever, so that we can read them, so we're not coming here spending 5 hours trying to read stuff.
Yep.
So because you did that, it makes the rest of us just boom, 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 it's great, it's easy. So, yeah, I just say put it on the agenda, we'll vote accordingly, and then whether it's a yes or a no, depending, we'll move forward as we should. However that vote
Yeah.
leads us to the next decision.
Because,
I agree.
yeah, cause once the motion's made, I'm sure there'll be discussion about it anyway,
Yes.
so it will.
Yeah, it'll work itself out.
And there may, and I didn't know if the board may have had some information that we don't have. It doesn't sound
No.
like there's any
It was never,
other information that people inside
I was on the
have.
bargaining team, I sat there for those 3 days and I went back in my brain and it was maybe like a 5-minute conversation. And
Yeah,
so really
it's
nothing
okay.
to add, yeah.
The athletic code of conduct and board policy, there's some discrepancy there. I think again, I shared that with you, you have that. We need to get it aligned.
Yep.
And what's gonna be happening is the athletic director is going to get together a group of parents, coaches, and probably at least one board member to develop a plan to encompass everything. So it needs to be aligned and that's where it needs to be. Whether it's something changes or both changes, that's really, I think, gonna have to happen, and I'd like to see that. Nothing's gonna change for this year. It's too quick to do something and explain it to everybody, but September, October, November, sometime around there, have these meetings, at least probably 3 meetings.
Okay.
To go over that and develop a mission or develop, in my opinion, a policy that makes it uncomfortable for kids to make the wrong decision
I love it,
and support kids that are making the right decisions.
that's perfect.
Okay,
What that comes out to be, we'll find out. I know if you went to every other school district around, you're gonna have different policies that they have. We just need to be clear and consistently applied,
Yeah.
whatever that is. But right now, again, with the board policy, not being able to do discipline over years, which is fine, and I know that's something the state has, especially with the suspension and expulsions that you can't carry over those things. I get that, but we also wanna make sure kids are living up to these, representing Tipp City schools in extracurricular activities, which could be a variety of them. It's not just athletics, there are other extracurricular activities that take place that they're representing Tipp City schools in the best manner possible too. So, what questions might anybody have?
I read through all of it and it all looked pretty good to me. I guess my only question was, this is our current existing policy, correct?
Correct.
So there's no changes in what we have here.
Correct.
Okay, just wanna make sure, so,
I don't think we make any changes until there's been more eyes.
okay.
So it'd be like for next fall, like
Yeah.
2024, like all,
Mhm.
when school starts in
yes,
August.
24, 25
Yeah.
for the next school year.
All right.
And then my question is, did you reach out to Norm and see if there was any specific updates or anything like that from Neola as well?
I have not reached out to him.
Okay,
This is those policies in regards to,
cause they're specific to our district?
yeah,
Okay,
our athletic eligibility is not, it should be following the board policy, but how it's applied needs to be, that's all our local decisions.
Okay.
But I can follow up to see, if there's nothing that I'm aware of that changes anything in the winter
right.
that just got approved, in the consent.
Yeah, I know
agenda.
there wasn't anything in that.
Yeah, so, but I can reach out to Neola.
Or I mean, at least see if there's like something that is already, maybe there's something already set up in another district that he knows of that would be good for us to pull out and say, hey, we can make ours similar. And I'm
Well,
like,
I think that's what this committee should do.
Oh.
Part of that is looking at what other
Yeah.
districts are doing, what are some good things about it, what are some question marks about it? What do we need to do to craft it, maybe it's a bit here, a bit there, whatever, or maybe this is the perfect answer that, XYZ school district has. But looking at what everybody else has and what's reasonable for Tipp City, what applies to Tipp City schools. Okay,
cool,
do you have anything to say?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So, first of all, this is obviously should be led by the athletic director. And he should bring to, whoever ends up being on the committee, he should bring all of this to the committee, be prepared, and say, hey, these are 5 policies from 5 area schools. And then we should reach out to parents who have been in other districts, not people who have lived in Tip City their whole entire life, because we want a different lens. You know, what worked at your school? We just don't want the person that's, you know, lived in Tip City for 50 years. Well, you know, when my grandpa was here, times have changed, things are different. And
So I have a variety of
Yeah,
perspectives.
yeah,
for sure.
Not just,
Right.
I don't want, this is the way it has
Not
to
the
be.
Tip
I think
City
people that-
bubble,
I
right.
think people that are open-minded to looking at
right,
all the various policies to decide
right.
how do we create the best one for Tip City
Right.
students?
And then the other thing the AD could do is to, any current athlete for the upcoming school year, 2023-24, or the ones that just graduated, you could say, hey, 5 basic questions. What are your feelings? You know, if your child did something after hours that resulted in a police report, do you think that would you want your child held accountable? Just ask people. I think you would be surprised how many parents are like, yeah, if my kid's out doing things he shouldn't be doing, I absolutely want him held accountable, because guess what? I don't want him to do it in college. I don't want to do it as an adult when it affects his career. Nip it in the bud now. But that's what we haven't been doing. We kind of pick and choose what policy, what kid, all that stuff isn't gonna get us a new building. So I like that you're on the same page with this. It's gonna be good.
Yep.
But I don't want the committee to be people that have never left Tip City. To me, that is too bubbled. It's not casting a wide enough net or lens. We want other viewpoints.
Yeah.
What happened at your school? What happened at your school? You know,
I expect this to be a larger 15, 20 people.
absolutely, perfect.
That's going to have, not just seniors, but
Yeah.
middle school kids,
yeah.
staff, parents.
When your kids,
Yeah, they
it
maybe
affects
they
your,
grow here, but they need to be open-minded, hey,
Mm-hmm.
we gotta focus on what's in the best interest of kids, how do we support our
Right.
kids to make sure they're on the straight path that's gonna eventually help them out. Athletics are a great hook into kids, but so
yeah,
is the
it keeps
marching
you drug
band.
free, keeps you alcohol
Yeah.
free,
Gives them reasons not to do those
For
things that
sure.
harm themselves,
for
or
sure.
others for that.
Right, and kids make mistakes, so we
Yes.
don't want
Right.
some kid who is out toilet papering for the first time, maybe he doesn't even wanna be there, but there's all this peer
Peer pressure,
pressure, like, don't be a baby, we're gonna go toilet paper. And then he gets in the car and all of a sudden it's eggs and firecrackers and spray paint. So we understand that, but you need to, I don't wanna say scare him, but you need to say, hey, Billy, that probably wasn't a great choice.
That's not
Yeah.
how, that's not how you represent.
Right, cause what we don't want
Tip City X, Y, Z.
Right, but we don't want them doing it to where then it's something on their record, can't get into college,
Correct.
or it's a felony, now you have a felony.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a learning thing, yeah. And I think we're all here with the mindset of, we want you to learn, we don't want it to ruin your life. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay,
5C.
yeah, so the working agreements, I think with not all 5 board members here.
Yeah, obviously.
I think it's not a good time to do that, you know, I appreciate everybody, I know I talked to everybody and
Yeah.
they were reading the stuff, the homework and here prepared, I just think with 2 people out, the whole team needs to be here so we can
True.
develop that. So we'll move that to another meeting. It may, depending on what's happening in the July regular meeting, it could be something we do there, but depending on time, I may move it.
I
To
think
the
August,
yeah.
the August work meeting.
We'll just see, I'll see
Probably
what's
be-
all on the
Yeah.
July.
And it won't take long, cause like again, you sent all the information out ahead of time, it was pretty easy reading, it's pretty
Yeah.
basic common sense.
We're gonna get there's gonna be some things happening, but we'll get there. The district goals, again, I think, not that, this is a little different, because we want to have in August some goals for the treasurer and superintendent done. So this is a start of a conversation, and if everybody's okay, I wanna do a little activity with everybody, so then we can at least move it forward, cause if we don't do it till August, then it's not happening, it's not gonna get to September, and
October, yeah.
then before you know it, Christmas is here, it's like, well, we're talking about next year, so
Right.
that's just the way things work, it's easy. So I want you to, don't mind, got. we have a preference
I
on
want
your,
purple.
your purple, okay?
Come on, I have a purple car, that's not fair. Seriously.
You can take it.
I have a purple car, I feel like I should have the purple.
I'll take the
No, I'm
coral.
teasing, I'm teasing
I
you.
like coral too.
Yeah.
It's good. I
So
like
what I
both.
want you to do is, what
You know I love purple, my car's purple.
I do too. I do too. I have a purple cup.
Yes. What I'd like you to do is write on one item, one goal that you think the district needs to be focusing on for the 23-24 school year. So one item,
Anything.
any item for
Okay.
district goals, but one item per sticky note.
Okay, so you
Like 50?
We'll see how long you get.
No, I don't understand the
So,
assignment.
Yeah, so yeah.
I'm confused.
If you have
Cause you said one.
one per sticky note, so if you have 50 things,
Oh,
you have 50 things. I don't
Okay.
think we'll get that far.
Yeah.
But if you have 10 things, I just wanna know what you think are
Gotcha.
important district goals, but one per each item, so
I understand what you're
yeah.
saying.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What other questions might people have? Okay, you're already working.
I'm good.
You're
Oh, this is easy. I have a list.
That was quick.
Yeah,
You're-
I'm pretty.
If you need more sticky notes, let me know. I'll get you some more sticky notes.
Okay. I think a lot of them fall underneath each other sometimes though too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of purple.
It's okay.
Right?
You keep
I'll
going.
stop.
You sure?
No, I could be here all night, but I've been doing this 7.5 years, I have plenty to say.
Alright, so let's move a chair out, and what I like for the three of you to do
Yeah.
is kind of group these.
Okay,
See if you can group these into
a category,
category,
like
yeah.
academic, sports, climate,
You name
culture.
Yeah, yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So work on it together, the three of you to figure, and if you need some more understanding, then ask the person, you know, who got you what color.
Sorry,
Ask-
that's like the exact same thing.
Yeah, perfect. Clear financial picture,
That's the same. Yeah.
alignment and district?
No, the consistency between buildings.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say that. Financial, let's start a financial pile.
This facility,
Well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like tradition and excellence, it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
I see what you're
gotta
saying.
stop. Student centered, what that be? Oh, well, geez, I don't know.
But that, I mean, that could fall under a lot of things,
Yeah.
because that's,
Well, what about this? That kind of goes with
yeah,
that.
mm-hmm,
Cause people are like, I don't have a kid and,
yep,
yeah.
third grade guarantee,
Yeah, there you go,
climate
perfect.
and culture, math, middle school.
Yeah, that goes together. Who said facilities? Where was their facility one?
That one's over
That
there.
kind of goes with the
Mhm.
community one.
Rick, you had that one, right? This is in the buildings.
I found the tripod for that, did you want this?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm out of here.
That's kind of.
Yeah, I think we did a little bit.
That's
Oh wait, where's climate and culture?
there.
Where's the climate and culture
Right
one?
here.
That kind of could go there.
Yeah.
Jimmy, it helps.
Mhm. I kind of feel like all that goes with this too. They all kind of
Oh,
overlap.
this would just go under leadership. This is just basic leadership.
Yeah,
Okay, when you said fairness in building, what do you,
Fairness and grading.
in grading, sorry, grading?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about what you're thinking of.
Yeah. It's a lot to explain.
Okay,
Maybe just like, that could be part of climate and culture, consistent, let's just say we have two, I'll use AP history because Mr. Bellis is a rock star. Let's say we have two AP history classes. Mr. Bellis teaches one and the new teacher teaches another. The
see what you're
kids that in
saying.
Mr. Bellis's class, of course, I mean, he's hard, as he should be. The kids love him, that's what they want. But then you get this new teacher, it's like, they're both taking all the kids are taking AP history, but these kids are getting the easy A. These kids are working their butt off for their A. Like, it needs to be the same. If you're taking the same course, the testing and the grade, it should all be equal. Because what happens is the kids are like, they know the easy teachers. I want the easy teacher, because,
so it's.
but they're not learning, they're just getting an A.
Same thing in, it could be elementary school,
Any-
whatever,
yeah, any school,
whatever's
yeah.
happening in third grade.
Right.
All the third grade teachers are still working and
Exactly.
expecting having the same expectations.
They also have to pass the third grade reading guarantee.
Yeah.
right.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then parents and kids, it's like the same with
Don't
college.
have a problem with that.
Everyone had that easy college professor. You're like, oh, we're all taking calculus, but we all know who the easiest professor is. Like, it's life. It happens in first grade, it happens in your postdoctorate degree,
But to limit that as much as
yeah, just more
possible.
consistency
More
in,
consistency.
consistency in academics, I guess, would have been another way to say it, but I was just, talking off the top of my head.
Okay, that's okay. So that's finance and pass bond levy, that's a kind of a financial and that's kind of in between.
This might actually.
Pass bond
down
levy could go with
here.
the city thing too, about build a bridge with the city.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, that could all go together.
Okay, so we have kind of alignment, working together is the,
Yeah,
what was the one we just, the fairness and grading, is that really kind of the collaboration, consistency between
That could be
buildings?
collaboration too, yeah.
well, mine's not building, it's just like, no, that,
You think more,
But per grade level is what you're talking, right? So-
Right.
Because the buildings are broke down into
right,
grade
so it
level.
has nothing to
They're in
do
their
between
kind-
buildings, just like,
kinda like you're saying, the silos, that's why
Yeah.
people can't work in silos, they gotta work
right,
together.
I feel like,
And
yeah.
have some shared
Right.
expectations,
Instead of being one district, it feels like we are just 5 buildings,
yes.
like there's no,
Yes,
yeah,
I can
that's
see
not,
that.
it's not working.
I kind of hate that.
And that's why we went to that Wednesday early release thing, so that at least the middle school and high school teachers could collaborate. Because if you have an 8th grader that's going to the high school, you're gonna have to have questions for those freshmen, teachers, and
Yep.
they don't ever have time to do all that. So that's why we came up with the Wednesday thing.
And I really like that Dawn came up with that. I really like that.
Yeah,
So we have we kind of have this collaboration group here. The passing the levy and the financial, this sometimes is, I think maybe it kind of goes all
They
together.
all kind of all go
With
together.
the facilities,
For
because
sure. Yeah.
we gotta know what our finances are, so we
Right,
can
Yes, so
share
we
that.
can
Absolutely.
That's,
actually, yeah.
that's a big
Yep.
piece, I think, of the facilities piece. And then this is really a student-centered,
yeah,
Student-centered focus in general.
so when you're saying I see the some academic pieces here, the fairness and grading, climate and culture. What is it, how would you group all those things? What would you say?
leadership, leadership will handle most of this.
Kind of, but I think sometimes as adults, we like to put our opinion on what we think should happen because of experiences that we have had. But I think it needs to be a lot more talking to our students and finding out what they feel is necessary for them to have success. And I feel like sometimes that piece of the puzzle gets overlooked in the grand scheme of adults having discussions.
So is it having kids connected to the school, more feel like a sense of belonging, like this is a good place for them type of thing? Is that what
I
you're
would
saying?
say definitely in the middle school. That's definitely something that I feel like is missing
I
overall.
think high school too.
Do you think so too?
Yeah, because in high school, because I just had 2 kids go
Yeah,
through
I
it.
just have one in there now.
Yeah. So I just feel like in high school, which it's very normal though, this is,
Yeah,
it's every high school.
Yeah.
You
It's part of growing up,
like-minded
too.
people find like-minded people.
yeah,
So if you're in band, you're gonna hang out with the band kids.
Yeah.
But there's always a group of kids that you might not be in any extracurricular activity. So to me, those are the kids where if you don't play a sport and you don't do, I'll just consider band a sport.
an extracurricular of some type.
Yeah,
Yeah, whatever it is.
where's your tribe?
Yeah,
You have no tribe. So, okay, maybe you're the smart kid, but if you don't do an extracurricular and you're not the smart kid, you're just walking through those halls as a ghost.
Okay.
To me, that's kind of like, that's where my mindset has always been. How are we grabbing
all
those
those kids.
50 kids who just walk into that building every day and says, no one knows my name, like no one sees me. And I don't mean that, our teachers are great.
Yeah.
But to them, because they don't have the baseball team or the football team or the, or they're not on the quiz team. They're just a kid that gets up and goes to school and goes home. I don't know the answer. I don't.
But it's getting kids to feel connected.
Yeah.
And appreciated by being there.
Right.
Yeah.
Getting to
Right.
know them, maybe finding other avenues or things to create, but focusing on student needs. And that, when they're not connected, where's their needs?
Right.
They still wanna be part of something.
Right.
They still wanna be
Exactly.
recognized for good things that they're doing.
Right.
They may not be maybe they're not the kid with the best academic or even athletic, but
Yeah.
they're contributing positively in other
They might be
ways.
the funny
Yeah.
kid, or they might be the kid that
Maybe
always
be
picks up.
helping- Yeah, helping out
somebody's
somebody.
Help somebody
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I do like is I haven't driven my kids to school in a couple years, cause once your kid turns 16 as a parent, you're kinda like off the hook, so to speak. But one thing I do like is, in all of our buildings, Mr. Vagatus, Mr. Southers, Mr. Barnes, they stand out in the
They
morning. Now, if you drive, so if you're a kid that takes the bus, I don't know how that operates, I don't have bus kids, but every day, and they know their kid's name.
Yep.
Morning Jack, morning Max, morning Rick, morning Amber.
Yep.
And that, right away, that kid is getting that, I'm not invisible. And I think that's huge. I don't know if all schools do that, or if that's a unique thing to Tipp City, but I think it's pretty cool. And then sometimes, cause like Mr. Barnes, for instance, he attends many of the sporting events. And he'll be like, hey Carson, great tackle last night. Hey Max, you got a home run. Hey Billy, congratulations on that tennis match. And the kids they get excited, like,
They do.
hey, there's Mr. Barnes. What's he gonna say to me?
Yep.
He's gonna pat me on the back. I'm gonna wag my tail. I've started my day off like a rock star. It's important.
It
It's important.
And that's
And I love that.
That's what you're talking about there, though, that climate and culture. If you build
Yes.
that within your students,
Right. For
built
sure.
with your staff, then it builds with your
Yeah.
students, and then it creates
Into the
that positive
classroom
environment.
and that-
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
It
have
built
so many
that.
good people in our
Yep.
district that have a smile on their face, that they get, I'll use a perfect example, Miss Geyer at the high school. If we could clone Miss Geyer, we could take this whole board and put it upside down, because everything would be perfect. I mean, she's one of those people that when a kid is having a bad day and they're stressed out and panicking, I gotta go find Mrs. Geyer.
Yeah.
Cause she's gonna help me, calm me down, she's gonna know how to fix my problem, because she's been here a long time. And she loves these kids. We just clone Mrs. Geyer, we're good to go.
Okay.
But there's so many people like her that are always stepping in and stepping up.
But maybe finding a way to make sure we're getting everyone,
Yeah.
and making everybody at least feel like they have some value that they can add to the school. And, no matter what situation they are, they're gonna be respected.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
they may not, they may be struggling in a class, but hey, there's ways to get better and we're here to help you get better.
Right, for sure. Another, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I just always remember when I was teaching or just in general in life, I always try to remember, like, everybody has a sign on their neck that says they wanna feel special. And so it's your job to make everybody feel that way. And I know that it gets hard and teachers have a lot of stuff on their shoulders, but I think if it comes from top down, that really focusing on everybody feeling that way, it's gonna create that culture throughout the district, is my thoughts.
So another idea, because I do feel like this is one of those things that grows very quickly and it's so easy to do. So you identify those top teachers in the buildings, because we have so many supplemental contracts. I mean, it's what, 1.4 million? It's crazy how many supplemental contracts we have. Well, why not make this a committee? We could use the wellness dollars are for it. And every building has the teachers that, and go to there, hey, Miss Geyer, what is your secret sauce? You know, and just ask her. There's something that she's doing every single day that makes every single kid know that she's a safe place. You know?
Sharing that with
Right.
everybody to maybe they can't do everything, but they can
But that
add
might give
pieces
them
of it.
a.
Right,
it might
and then we have
ignite
to start
something.
noticing-
It might ignite something in them.
Yeah, I call them the unsung heroes. Maybe it's a janitor that, you know,
Cause we have lots in the district that do great things for our kids too.
yeah, anything, just, you know, and pat them on the back.
Yeah.
Cause they're the ones that are in the trenches every day and they never expect recognition because they don't get recognition. So, but they are really impacting and touching our children.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we kinda got three main
Focuses, yeah.
focuses here. I'll keep this, I'll probably show this stick here, but I will, put this together so I can share it with the other
Yeah.
board members and just kinda talk about this so they can watch the video and how you listen to it,
Yeah.
listen to everybody. But this is, if we think these are priorities and these are really some goals that we need to have as a district, the question would be then, okay, how do we measure these things? How do we make sure those things
How do you
are
make them
happening?
measurable?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Student surveys, that's the best way. You send out a Google survey.
surveys are a way to do it,
Mhm.
but there are some action steps that we need to do. Because what are we gonna do, you know, to recognize kids? Is it making sure we're recognizing kids at the board meetings when the school starts
Yeah,
up
yeah.
again? What are those things that we know we can do? The surveys are great, but you know what, the kid's having a bad day.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
Right,
We
for
need to
sure.
put, it's the action steps that I think that we need to be responsible for, and are we doing it? And then is it making impact? Cause we say, oh, we just hope it happens,
Yeah,
it's not
Well,
gonna happen.
and I think a measurable thing too is sometimes for us, like I like to go into the buildings when I can and kind of talk to teachers and get a feel for things. And you can walk into any building pretty quickly and feel what's going on, climate and culture wise.
typically-
oh, yeah, you can feel a vibe.
Yeah, you can feel a vibe. So even something as simple as that, just,
It's some observational data.
yeah, observational kind of stuff too would be
Yeah.
helpful in that. So.
And attendance at activities, events,
Mhm.
support, things like that.
Cause the kids pay attention to that
Passing the
also.
bond levy would also be a
Yeah.
piece of data.
Yeah.
You know, we can get those things, if we can have a clear message that people understand that meets the needs of our kids, our staff and the community, that would be another
Yeah.
point to look at.
So another option too is maybe like in the individual buildings, maybe twice a month. I'm thinking more like middle school and high school, cause I feel like really once the cell phones get into the kids' hands is when the whole climate and culture goes crazy.
Yeah, I would say even fourth and fifth grade,
Yeah, there's still,
that grade, they're starting to have
right,
cell phones too.
right.
But it gets
Now,
worse.
right.
It gets worse.
So I would say maybe, you know, twice a month at the middle school and high school, either a principal, assistant principal, even a board member, maybe a guidance counselor, somebody has like a table in the lunchroom. Or a table, if that feels too, you know, intimidating, maybe have a spot in the library or somewhere, pick a room 7. And any kid knows that the second and last Wednesday of any month, if I wanna go in and have a slice of pizza, with a school person,
Mhm.
you don't, it's a safe place.
Yep.
you say something positive, so, hey, I'm concerned, I've been seeing kids smoking pot in the bathroom.
Yeah.
But I don't wanna come forward, just like an open door policy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if you entice them with pizza, I mean, what kid's not gonna,
Yeah.
are you gonna eat the
Everybody's gonna
school
go eat
grilled
pizza.
cheese or are you gonna eat the pizza? I mean, really,
Yeah.
you know, maybe once a month or
Yeah.
just something where kids feel like their voice matters.
Yeah.
I don't know if people would do it because there's always the fear of retaliation. I don't wanna be the tattletale. If somebody sees me go in that room,
Yeah.
I don't
think
know.
there's- I
We
think
can
there's
try
way-
it.
I think there's ways to get everybody's voices.
Yeah,
Heard.
I mean, this is just
Yeah.
like brainstorming and trying to, come up with something.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you think might be missing on this?
Well, I'm sure there's a lot missing. We just spent 5 minutes on it, but it was a good start.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just start.
right.
We'd be spending more time if everybody was here.
That's right. No, it's good. Yeah.
But what,
And they may have some more ideas too to add to the board of like things that
Mhm.
they see that maybe we're not seeing too. Cause everybody has different perspectives depending on how old their kids are, what experiences they had in school. I mean, there's a lot that plays into all of it.
okay,
I mean, I just feel like any step we take is a positive step. Doing nothing cannot be an option.
No.
correct.
Do something. Move forward. Lead, That's just gonna go far.
Well, again, the board's gonna have to make decisions on what those goals are.
Right.
And
For
then
sure.
the action steps is where
Where you take
I
over.
would take over and say, this is how we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this,
Mhm.
this, and this. We have our first administrative meeting in the beginning of August, so.
Are you doing that thing where you go away and is it like a
no,
2-day?
we'll-
Okay.
No, we're not.
Cause we've done Aileron, we've done the community center.
No,
we've done
I
different
think some
things.
are going to the Miami County ESC for
Okay.
back to thing.
Yeah, that's pretty
on
cool.
the
Yeah.
third, I think the
Awesome.
third,
Okay.
the fourth, I'm having the principals here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna talk about some expectations and things that we wanna focus
love
on
it.
and do. So this will help,
Kind of facilitate
Yeah.
some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
these are some key areas that we need to do and how's it gonna happen? Cause
Mhm.
again, we're not gonna stay status quo.
There you go.
And I honestly think, especially in the administrative standpoint, other than our new ones that are coming in, I think all of the current administrators we have a pretty good understanding of what's going on in their building or what's coming to them next.
Yep.
So I think that that's gonna be super helpful for you too,
Yep.
when you guys are deciding things.
Well, we have 2 new administrators at middle school.
Yes, I said middle school's the only one. that I
Oh, yeah,
feel
yeah, so that's
like-
gonna be kind of
Yeah,
the
that
focus.
they're
They're gonna need
just gonna tread a
guidance.
lot of water
Yeah,
at the beginning.
Yeah, they're gonna need
See what
guidance.
happens, but
But I think they have I think they have a knowledge of already what's
Yes.
some things that need to happen.
yeah, and they've
The
created
school resource
things to do
officer, we
things
get the
there
mental
too.
health, social workers in,
Yeah.
we've got the instructional coach is gonna be
Yeah,
helping out, there's gonna be
Oh,
some,
yeah, I
there's
mean-
gonna be some focus.
Yeah,
They're getting a
on-
better foundation than what
They've had in
is
the
had.
past.
Mhm.
I've been on the school board 8 years. I mean, this is the best foundation that I've seen for that building.
Yeah.
So we're doing all the positive
Yeah.
things.
On the
It takes time.
It's gonna
It
take
takes
time,
2 or 3 years. You don't just go in and
No.
flip a light switch.
but I expect to see growth, positive
Yeah.
growth
I do
for
too.
our kids academically, for belonging, for everything. I do expect to see incremental growth happening, and then before you know it, you look back a few years, you're like, look where we came from, and we
For
had
sure.
all this. May not realize it, but it makes, gonna make a difference, that compounding
Yeah, over time.
growth.
And I think it's nice that you're new, so you're bringing your style and your leadership and your
excitement.
knowledge with the 2 new people at the middle school. So it's perfect because they're both new, so you're all gonna be on the same page right out of the gate.
Yep.
It's not like,
And they've been working together for a
Right.
little while, we went to the training in
Yeah, it's
Harrisburg,
gonna be
which was really
great.
good. Do a lot of, they're ready for the challenge.
it's gonna be great, I'm so excited,
Okay, we'll go from there.
awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I like things like that, I like collaborating. Okay,
All right,
where are we at? Okay,
so,
so we're at 6A.
Yep.
So, list of suggested future agenda items. Anyone have anything they want to add?
Yeah, I wanna add to the Google Drive, cell phones in the middle school.
Okay.
Or should I say eliminating cell phones in the middle school to be more specific.
I see where you're coming from, but we might have to have discussion of that.
Yeah, it's a topic for all 5 of us.
Yeah, definitely.
This is something that Thomas and I have talked about, and that you've seen in the paper. So, who is it? Kettering
Mm-hmm.
is going.
What paper? The Dayton Daily News?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they actually,
Yeah.
so Akron schools actually did this for some of their schools where
Okay.
kids put it in a pouch.
Mhm.
And now Kettering is doing that.
But we
for
do that
them.
at Tipp.
Yeah.
Per period.
It's like a lockbox.
Yeah, perfect, because they just do it per
Yeah,
period,
this
only,
is
yeah,
something different.
this is what I want.
It's something that again is something to consider and look at, but other schools are doing it
Mm-hmm.
in the state that I know. There was a couple articles that Thomas and I had a conversation, and I saw this article forwarded to him about Akron schools, and then like a week later, I see it in the Dayton paper about Kettering schools looking to do it. So I can forward you that, I'll forward you those articles, so you have them.
Yeah, I think the crazy thing is, I think the kids, they don't think they would, but I think they would actually enjoy it, because I think they get so overloaded with the social media, and during the day, people are texting, what are you wearing tonight, what are you doing tonight? Susie and Bobby just broke up, and it's because you were flirting with Bobby. I think they would be really happy to give their brains a break from all of that stress. At first they wouldn't, but then it was like, it's so relaxing, just come to school and be at school. I don't have to deal with all that.
So I think it's so interesting to me because I mean, we came from a different time, obviously, because
Yeah.
we didn't have cell phones when we were in school.
Yeah,
But I remember passing notes, like you would spend your, study
Yeah.
hall like writing a note.
It's
That was how
exciting.
you communicated, you know?
you would try to
And
throw it, not
You
get
try to-
caught.
Yeah, or you'd like put it in a little
Yeah.
shape and like put it in somebody's hand when you walked by.
It was so much
like,
more romantic than a
Well,
nasty text.
Yeah, you know what I, like.
Yeah, right?
You know?
Cause you could
So-
fold it like origami and like
Mhm.
do this
Yeah,
fun
do-
stuff with
you
it.
know, all the fun
Those
stuff
paper
with it.
things that you would go like
Yeah,
this.
like the mash where you
Yeah,
lift it up and
that's
see
right.
what your life looked like.
Yeah, people had to actually
Um,
work for a date back then.
I
It's too
know.
easy now.
So I don't know.
No, I know, I just,
I get what you're saying.
we've had this
It's
conversation
just very
before
hard.
as a board.
Yeah.
And then they didn't come to the board when they allowed cell phones in the middle school.
Okay.
And I know if you talk to the middle school teachers, ever since it has only been like 3 years, since we've allowed cell phones into the middle school, it has been a direct correlation of all of the issues and problems. But the problem now is the kids have the watches, they've got the smart jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
You're always gonna have that, but you gotta start somewhere.
I know, and it's so hard too. I find myself, I know we're getting kind of off topic, but I find myself texting my kid when I need something from them, like if I
At
can't.
school,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas before, when
yeah,
they were younger, I never did that.
No, right.
Like I would call the teacher or I'd call the school and be like, hey, I have a question. Can you ask blah, 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 blah. And
yeah.
now, I don't know. I just feel like things are too.
Well, we can add that to the agenda.
Yeah. I think it's a good conversation.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, so 7A is miscellaneous, let's see. The next regular board meeting will take place on Monday, July 24th at the Board of Education beginning at 6 p.m. The next work session meeting will take place on Tuesday, August 1st at the Board of Education beginning at 5 p.m. And then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn unless anybody has anything else.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
I'll make a motion that Rick makes a motion that we adjourn. Is that okay?
So moved.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, so
I'll second.
Mr. Maines, followed by Mrs. Dunaway to adjourn the meeting. And we'll take a vote.
Mr. Maines,
Yes.
Ms. Dunaway,
Yes.
Mrs. Drum,
Yes.
all right.
The motion passes. We are adjourned.
Good job.
That wasn't so bad, was it? You got lucky, there's only 3 of us and it was only 55 minutes. I really wanted you to